the home makeover, TV show concept has been around for years. A crew will come into town, renovate, upgrade a home for a family in a short turnaround of time. It's usually amazing how much work they get done in the short amount of time, and the family's overwhelmed by what's shown and given to them. Well, I was recently introduced to kind of a fun and different twist on this concept, and it's called Renovation Hunters. The host, House Shaffer, finds a family with a small hunting cabin or some sort of outdoor space that has been in the family for a long time and has maybe kind of found itself in disrepair and in need of updating. So he and his team work for 8 days straight to renovate and update the cabin to make it more usable for the family. In addition, they will also rehab the land itself. So one of their missions is to help families get back outdoors to enjoy the land and to create lasting memories. So today I get a chance to talk to them about their show and their mission and what goes on to make these really fun but also very complex projects happen within 8 days. I'm going to be chatting with Hal Shaffer and Chris Filardi. I'm going to have them introduce themselves here. Here's Hal and Chris. Chris, we'll start with you on this one. How would you answer the question in less than 30 seconds? Who is Chris Filardi?
Yeah, I don't know. He keeps changing all the time. He's growing. He's now I'm in grandfatherhood. I would say that I am somebody who likes. I'm passionate about a lot of things, food and life and nature, and I'm trying to live my later years of my life in a way that I'm fulfilled. I work. I see my family. I see my friends, and to me, it's just keeping that balance is what it's all about for me, I guess.
Cool. Hal, same to you. What, in less than 30 seconds, how would you answer the question? Who is
I
Hal
can't do it in
Schiffer?
less than 30 seconds, so I give up. No, uh, no. So in less than 30 seconds, I would tell you that Hal Schaefer is a God-fearing family guy who is dearly in love with his wife, Courtney Schaefer, who co-hosts Renovation Hunters with us.
Mm.
But I have an unbelievable passion for the outdoors, and everybody knows me for the outdoors as being the hunter and all this. But truly, nature is where my peace of mind comes from. Me and my wife scuba dive together. I love fishing. I love hunting. I love watching animals. I love racing. I love Alabama football. Oh my gosh. These things, the things that I truly love, I don't just like them. I love them. And I'm passionate about that. And all of the friends that I've made in my life, I am probably the most relationship based guy you'll ever meet, whether it's work or personal. That's everything's based on a relationship with me. I don't fit today's society as well, the cookie cutter type thing. I believe in relationships that take you farther than anything else in your life.
Well, welcome to Keeping the Lights On. I'm your host, Todd Reed. And on this podcast, I like to connect with the owners and pros who design, build, and maintain our electrical, communications, and industrial world to explore the best ways forward. Let's get into the show. I, I like the concept of, we're going to be talking about, we've not really met each other a whole lot. And the way to bring people together oftentimes and kind of relax us is to have a meal together and share a meal. Well, we're not able to do that because we're in different parts around the country. But so let's start it out with, and we'll start with you, Hal. If I were to visit you, or one of the guests or one of the people watching were to visit you in your hometown, where might you take us out to eat, and why would you choose this place?
I tell you where I take you out to eat at Schaefer a la carte. You're going to eat in my home. You're going to sit at my table. You're going to break
Okay.
bread with us. And we're going to
Awesome.
grill something, smoke something, and fry something. I'm from Alabama. We frying something. I'm just
Okay.
telling you that right now. But no, the meal I mean, I love steak, right? I'd probably
Okay.
go out to the Big Green Egg. I get it up to 1,000 degrees. I get a great cut of ribeye. I put salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic on it, and that's it. Don't put
Mm.
anything else on your steak other than that. You don't need it. Great meat doesn't need it. And I would sear
True.
it on each side for 3 minutes, bring it into a perfect medium, let it rest for 15 minutes. We'd probably have something like some fried potatoes. My wife would make homemade sourdough bread. We would have some vegetables, and then I'm telling you, there is nothing like sharing your table with good people. That goes back to the whole relationship thing. I'd rather eat at my house or at
Mm-hmm.
somebody else's house with friends than I had eat out any day of the week. Now, there's great places to eat out. Capitol
Sure.
Grill is our go-to date night when we don't want to cook. But I would take most anybody that I cared about. I would have them at the house.
Chris, the same question to you. If we were to visit you in your hometown, where might you take
Well,
us to
I'm
eat?
a food guy, and I love to hang out. I live very remote now within the last couple of years, so there's not a restaurant that I would take you to, short of going out and sitting by the lake and getting beers and wings or something. I'm a small plate guy, a variety of food. So what I would do is I'd have you come over early, like in the afternoon. We'd have a couple drinks. We'd talk about what we're going to eat, make any last minute modification, just start cooking and eating as it comes off. I mean, whether it's just, a piece like I always have venison in my freezer. I'll do a venison chop. I'll do like a fried eggplant with ricotta and mozzarella. I'll do some Italian stuff,
Man,
some fish stuff. And just what I'll try to do is find out, what my guest is into and what kind of flavors. And like Hal said, you have those meals where it's 3 or 4 hours just hanging out, talking about food and life. You learn a lot about somebody. And that's what I love when I can make something and someone says, "Oh my God, my mother made this just like this or different than this," and then we're talking about how we grew up, and I love the whole process of entertaining.
interesting. That's great. Good answers, guys. It looks like I'm going to be traveling around to some houses here soon to go have some meals. All right, Hal, let's talk about what inspired you to focus your show on renovating outdoor family properties.
Well, that's an easy one. I have spent the latter part of my life, the better part of my life, right, um, in the outdoors, making my living in the outdoors with my partner Greg Zippadelli with Drop Zone TV. Um, it has been really good to me and my family, and I know how much I get from it personally on a mental health side of it and physically being in the outdoors, how good it is for me, both mentally and physically. The outdoors is great. Never mind the achievements we've made being in the outdoors and the most amazing nature things that I have seen out in the outdoors that nobody ever gets the chance to see, right? From
Yeah.
down in South America to up in Alaska, 17 days in the bush there with nothing, it's incredible. And so as I started moving through this and been on outdoor TV since 2000, I said, there's got to be a way. How do we give back? Trying to do what the good Lord would want me to do. How do we do this? And so I got to thinking, and we were sitting. Chris came over to go hunt with me in Missouri, and we have a 100-year-old farmhouse there, over 100-year-old farmhouse there that the farmer owned. And I was sitting down there, and Crescent Tools was one of our sponsors then, right? Because nobody uses tools like outdoorsmen. It's the craziest thing. We're the ones. Outdoorsmen are the ones that's going to pick up a tool, that's going to pick up a volt ohm meter and check their own electricity, wash their own car, mow their own yard. They're just do it themselves type people, right?
Yep.
So it was the right demographic. We're sitting there and I'm like, God, Chris, this kitchen is terrible small. We just need to take this whole wall out. And he goes, yeah, man, that would look really cool. I said, you know what? Why don't we do it and film a short video for Drop Zone of us actually modifying our deer camp and and give it to Crescent Tools as content creators. And so we went and found some influencers and stuff like that, and we're in the middle of doing it. And I looked at Chris, and Chris and I both, you can see it on our face. We both thought the same thing at the same time. I'm like, wow, this would be a great TV show. We made it Renovation Hunters, and really started giving back to the family. And the more we go with it, it's turned into more of a family deal, my family. And I mean, I'm very blessed now that the love of my life, my wife, is the co-host in this show with me because she does all the interior design. She makes us all look good, right?
Sure.
So it has turned into such an amazing. There is a very complex financial side of support and sponsors and thank God for Gray Bar because they have just took us to the next level. They're the most amazing partner we could ever want because of what we do with these places now. But that was my chance because here's the thing, guys. And Todd, I think you can identify with this. If you have a family for 3 generations that's been going to the same cabin, whether it's a hunting cabin, fishing cabin, but that's where everybody met and went outdoors, right? Whether it's cousins, uncles, whatever, you know, when that place maybe got dilapidated because the next generation didn't know how to keep it up, couldn't afford to keep it up, whatever the case may be, when it broke down and got dilapidated, that ends their connection to the outdoors for the most part, because finding land to go have your time on and stay on and spend time
Yeah.
with family on is not easy. And you know, there's lots of camping places and stuff like that. It's not the same. It is not
Yeah.
the same. You can't hook campers together, right? So there's nothing like having a place to call your own. And so we said, you know what? We're going to do this for people. And unlike all the other renovation shows in the world out there, we do this for free. They don't pay one dime. And this just ensures, and it's been the most rewarding thing in the world, that we have made a place to keep people connected to the outdoors for generations. Because when we leave this place, it ain't just putting, lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
We got rid of the pig and brought in something really nice. And some of the responses, like these people, literally, I get text weekly now after 4 seasons under our belt. I get texts weekly from these people all the time. They are now, these 12 families are family.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, that's great. Well, Chris, can you share how the show's format and selection process for renovation projects kind of help reinforce the mission and connect with your audience?
Yeah, I can. I just want to say one thing though. I was on the marketing corporate side, like the sponsor side before this. So it's really cool in a career to have a successful TV show that you create and stuff. But I never understood at the time how amazing the connections we would make with people are. I mean, I have a bad
It's
day and
unbelievable.
I get a text from someone that said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, my daughter's going to Bama," and we're like laughing about it because Hal's always Bama. Like we talk to these people and we know that we've changed their lives for the good, and I we hoped it, but it's gone way
Yeah.
beyond what we thought.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
I would say that because of our love for people and trying to make their world better in these locations, making a video is really, really important. We have consumers will make a video, they'll submit it to the network, and we can get you the URL and stuff like that later you can drop on. But basically, we want to hear your story. We want to hear how you use it. We want to hear about your family history. Certainly, the story is the first thing as a human that Hal and I review. Like, is he military or have they always been in the outdoors? I mean, some of the people they had a picture of the deed. It was like $5 for like 1,000 acres in 1800s. Like that's
That's
the kind of
crazy.
story we're looking for. And again, what we're also looking for is someone who has that. I think the ability to communicate not only what their world is about, but what they enjoy.
Yeah.
Because we don't ask, they don't know what we're going to do at all. We don't tell them. But what we do is we interview them and we really understand how they use the place, what they think their limitations are, what they think they want, and we try to make the best for them so that everybody in the family can enjoy it.
Okay. So Hal, I'm curious, like what's your thinking on the selection process when you select a property and a family, and kind of what role does that emotional story play in your selection and thinking of it?
Absolutely, priority is I want the compelling story, right? Because we,
Yeah.
we want it to be deserving. And and it has taken a lot of different turns and twists for us over the past 4 seasons, especially on the selection process. We've had people that had a father that up in Pennsylvania that worked for the state his whole life, had used his retirement to buy a place in the outdoors for everybody, right? And 12, literally within months after buying it, got diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease and passed away within 12 months after buying it. So the
Yikes.
place sat there for 3 years,
Yeah.
starting to go downhill, starting to really get dilapidated. The family did not have the money or time or the knowledge
Yeah.
on how to fix it, right? So they sent us this story about it, man, and the video was amazing. It brought tears to my eyes, right?
Yeah.
And the compelling side to it, of course, we want, because we want the show to be compelling, because that's what people want to see, right?
Sure.
So,
Yep.
but the fact that it is compelling means that it's worthy, right? So that's where we came in, and when we told these people that we were going to do this place, they come unglued. I mean, just crying over the phone and
Yeah,
tears.
they dancing
And,
around.
oh yeah, yeah. They go from dancing to crying to screaming to, and when you get that, right after we renovated that place, and the tears that were shed, I mean, they could have watered the yard for a month, right?
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding when you go to lay your head down on a pillow at night. If that would have been the only build we did, and everything else got shut off after then,
Yeah.
I would have felt like mission complete, because we changed at least one family's life.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we have changed 12 families' lives, and it has taken a lot of twists. Todd, it's gone from people that couldn't afford it to a group of businessmen last year in South Dakota that have literally raised millions of dollars for conservation groups, for families in this area. They had given to everybody but themselves. Their
Mm.
place was falling apart. It was rotting around the windows. The floors were bad. I mean, the walls were bad. The heat and air, the whole place was bad. And I'm like, you know what? This is not our usual do. But people that have given their whole life, that gives, and don't put themselves first, why should we not go do something for them? Extremely rewarding. And the guys, once again, when you bring tears out of business guys, you've done something right.
Yeah.
And it just told them, it was a reassurance to them, just like it is to us, that what they're doing is right. And that there is people that recognize that these humanitarian efforts that go unseen, we only hear about the bad stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's the sad thing about the state of the day. Everybody wants to talk about the bad stuff. You know what? If you pull the covers back, there's a lot of great things going on in this
Mm-hmm.
world that are
For
way
sure.
more worthy of the news than the bad stuff that's going on.
What does your planning process look like for a new season, from selecting the stories to coordinating sponsors and logistics? I'm sure that'll only take you like a minute to
I
give an
mean,
answer to that.
we share in everything, but I mean, primarily Hal runs the production of the show, the
Mm.
story. The thing I was going to jump in and say is like, you'll get this story and we'll fall in love with it. We'll want to go, and then we go to the house. We're like, shit, we got to do this in 8 days. There's a lot of stuff here we didn't know. So there's a balance between, what can you physically do in that amount of time, but the story. And we do more and more every build because we're suckers for it. We like the story, and that's how we roll. So
Do you
I would say,
apologize for my partner's New England vocabulary in
yeah,
advance?
sorry.
Well, it'll be all right.
And so far, I'm doing pretty good. I haven't got the red
Yeah.
light yet.
Yeah,
It's
that
just
was
one
the first
time.
one. I'm impressed, brother.
Maybe the first of the show, so I'm excited about it. Oh gosh, what was I going to ask? Oh, do you
Planning wise,
wait,
it's a 2 year window that we look
wow.
at. You got to remember what happens is we film everything the year before. So
Okay.
to the extent that we have partners that want to put product in and we have to make the story, we'll do that in 25 over the course of the summer, and then it goes editing and then goes on air in February and runs for 26. So for us, it's a 2 year window, with the
Okay.
first one being, okay, what partners do we want to partner up with to make the structure, to do what we got to do to help this customer. And then the second thing is really, okay, now that we've got that, who wants to be sponsors, how do they want to do it, what's their media plans, how do we fit into their brand strategy, all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So it's really two different things over the course of 2 years. That is our primary focus.
Yeah, Todd, and one thing I will tell you is, when we're doing this selection, the easy part is picking somebody. The hard
Mm.
part is we get some finalists and we actually go there and meet the family and look at the
Okay.
property and look at the structure.
I was going to
And then
ask
you
if
have
you
to turn
saw the
around and tell them, you have to
yeah.
turn around and tell them, we can't do this.
Mm.
We did one in Arkansas that broke my heart because
Mm.
we couldn't do it. And with that said, with the amount of time we have, it's one thing. But be honest with you, a lot of it's financially based. because we do have budgets. Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
mean, like we're not charging people for this. This is a very expensive venture that it's worth every dime. Let me say that. But
Right.
it's a very expensive venture, right, guys?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes things just don't work out. I mean, if we had carte blanche budget, well, dude, I'd do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week because of the reward it gives us. I actually believe, and I think my wife would agree with that. I think John Camp or GC, I know Chris would. I don't know that the family gets more of a reward than we do. I think it's fairly equal for what the reward it brings us for what we get to do for everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
What so yeah, you said 2 years, but I am kind of curious like what are some of the biggest hurdles in aligning all the moving parts? So you've got sponsors, got to plan the build,
That's
all your
easy.
yeah.
It's logistics.
Yeah,
Logistics and budget, right? Because the thing is when you get to most of these places are older, right? We're not
Yep.
going to any place that was just built. They're all older. They all need help. Is that you even flying out there looking at it, you're not ripping down people's walls to go look at it. So you until you peel that layer of that onion off, you don't know where it's rotten at,
Oh, well,
right?
that's true.
So
That's
so
any
we get
construction
in
remodel.
there, and those surprises kick our butts. They kick our budget's butt, and they kick our butt on time and workload and all these things. And then you know you look at from the structural side of things that, and then you look at the stuff that Courtney handles on the decorating side, right? Because she sees the house as it is, but not as it's going to be. So we get in there and we may make a change, and she throws a hammer at me because we didn't tell her, you know, and then she's got to change her whole design because structurally we were forced to do something different than what we thought we were going to do. So it is a never-ending battle of uh-ohs, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, uh-oh, and inevitably, I may be working on habitat somewhere because we work on their property too, and all this stuff, and I'll get a call on the phone that says, "Hal, we got a problem." Oh my gosh, I hate them because I never know what it's going to be, what it's going to
right.
cost, or what it's going to do to us. But to this day, as big as our builds were last year, and they were too big. Let me just say that.
Oh,
We
yeah.
we did the biggest builds we've ever done. We've never not finished in our 8-day window. Never in
That's
4
cool.
years.
That's
So
pretty impressive.
and I walked away from every job knowing that we did a great job. I mean,
Sure.
there's some nightmare stories out there about renos that were done for TV. Stuff was held up by tape, this, that, and other. When we leave there, they're ready.
Yeah,
And
That's cool.
so, and I got to take this moment to say that we have the world's greatest crew when it comes to renovation TV or renovation period that you could ever assemble. And they're everything from college professors to construction workers to electrician to plumbers. All seem to have some relation to family with us. Uh, it's it's unbelievable how this group comes together. John Camp, our GC, does an amazing job. Camper is fun. He's great, but he can see the vision. And if if you're having to build what Hal's seeing as a vision or as Courtney seeing as a vision, then you better be good because I get out there sometimes. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, let me bring Hal back in. He's got a great big fishing rod that he reels me back in with sometimes.
Nice.
And Todd, the thing I would add is when Hal refers to a problem, okay, we're not talking about, wow, you know what, this gray paint really doesn't look as dark as we thought.
Yeah.
We literally had a job this year that's going to be on soon where we had Chuck was his company was doing all the countertops and everything. They look great. Me and Hal walked through the room. It's like, oh my God, these are going to look great. We leave that building thinking everything's good, and they call us back, and literally the cabinets are up, and the wall is 6 inch. That literally the entire structure is 6 inches out of
Leaning
place.
6 inches. The whole
Whoa.
And
thing's
you can
leaning this
see it
way
in the
6 inches
hallway
out of
going with
square.
the cabinets. So that's the kind of stuff where, like, I always laugh. Like when Hal goes with camper and they're looking at a place, obviously there's a story in the relationship and all that, but they're really trying to figure out, okay, how can we do this, right? So what we do is we do that evaluation while all the furniture is in there, all the stuff is on the walls, all the
Right.
mattresses, all that stuff. And the only thing they got to do is they got to clean everything out. So when we get there, it's empty. And we get there
Yep.
and like, ooh, we didn't know that floor was rotten. That's not in the quote, stuff like that. So
In that
it's a,
same build, we have one of our partners, a buddy of mine, Chad Cook, has a huge rental company, and he supplies us with a lot of stuff, helps us out unbelievably. We're in there looking at one of the two cabins, because we did two cabins, first time ever, on one build in 8 days. And we're walking in there, and next thing I know, where did Chad go? He fell through the floor.
Jeez.
And I'm like, we had no budget for replacing a floor. And there you go, and you still got to get it done in 8 days.
right.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it's a nightmare, but you know what? It's once again, as hard as it is, we work harder than anybody can imagine. 16-hour days. South Carolina was 95 to 100 degrees. We had 8 inches of rain in 1 week.
Oh,
So that
wow.
can tell you what we fought the whole way.
We have
Yeah.
so many different types of people. We have people that volunteer their time. We have people that are paid, that are professional contractors. We have a whole bunch of staff and family and friends that help. But when you really look at it, the one common denominator as we get into multiple seasons is that the people that are in our crew understand way more than just the construction part. They're like, okay, I got to work in the rain for 12 hours. But you know what? It's going to be worth it. So we spend a lot of time trying to find the right people that could handle pretty much anything that comes at them and know that at the end of the week they're changing somebody's lives. We say it all the time when we get down. It's like we're changing people's lives, man. Get it done.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
you got to find people that it's not about the dollar they're making. It's about the family we're doing it for. It's about our mission statement. If they don't buy
Okay.
into the mission statement, they won't make it 2 days on cast.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
just part of it. It ain't about being famous. It ain't about being a movie star. It ain't about any of that. It all has to be dead centered on the mission statement that we have. And when you get everybody to buy into that mission statement, there's unbelievable things you can do.
I'll tell you one thing I noticed in the episode I watched. I'm sure it's the same in every season or series, is that, and I don't remember who it was, but we'll say the electrician, just because you're talking to us. Everyone pitches in and does stuff. So the electrician does their work, or a plumber, or whoever, and then the cabinet guy needs help. Hey, I'm going to help him. Or Hal needs help outside doing something with the land. Okay, I'm there. So everyone is shifting around because to get thing done in 8 hours, it's not like, okay, electrician, go sit down for until we're done. They're like, nope, everyone's pitching in, and that seemed really cool too, because
Well,
they have
Todd, one
ideas
thing,
and stuff.
yeah, and Todd, I'll tell you another thing that's really cool that you won't see probably anywhere else on any show, any production, anywhere else that I have just warms my heart is we don't have sponsors, we have partners, right? These partners end up coming to these builds and volunteering their time, blood, sweat, and tears, being a part. Not only do they put their money behind it, but they put the blood, sweat, and tears off their brow behind it, right? And
That's cool.
that's a partner that you want. That's a person. That's a company that believes in this humanitarian effort that wants to see a change moving forward in what we can do for people. Because to be honest with you, in the grand scheme of things, what we're doing is preserving our natural resources for the country. This is a big part of that. You stop using the natural resources and they stop existing. That's guaranteed. So, in the big picture, that's what we're doing. And all these companies like Gray Bar and all of our friends that have been a part of this thing, it is huge that they actually come in and put the blood, sweat, and tears where their pocket is. Because not only do they write the checks that allow us to do what we do, they come out and do the work as well.
And there's
Yeah,
no hierarchy. Like there's no hierarchy. A senior person for one of our sponsors will come out and they'll be sweeping or painting or caulking, like whatever they
That's
can
cool.
do.
Egos are checked at the door.
What are like critical elements for you all to do this pre-job planning? Especially given the remote locations and super tight schedule.
we do a lot of these, not podcasts, but we do a lot of Teams meeting. And we actually have Gray Bar on, Schneider Electric on. A lot of their partners come on this. We'll sit here and lay out the structure in front of them and what we have. And Gray Bar is amazing. They send us all the things we need. They give us somebody that we can call and troubleshoot with. So while on the build, if we have a problem that we run into, that's something that we don't have a product for or whatever, they have somebody on standby the whole build to take our phone calls and to help us work through problems. It's unbelievable. The logistics that Gray Bar has shown us has actually taught us how to be better at it on our builds.
That's
So
cool.
it's pretty amazing.
Looking back on the projects you've done, what are the most important lessons you've learned about teamwork, planning, or serving families through this project?
That's a good one. For me personally, is don't ask anything of anybody that you're not willing to do yourself. I
Okay.
think that's a general rule of thumb that I use when trying to keep the crew going, and I know campers the same way. It's pretty incredible what you see people pitching and doing, and you've said it. There's people pitching in and doing things that are outside of their specialty or
Mm-hmm.
outside of their craft, right? It's pretty incredible. My wife's interior designer, but she'll be helping with trim. She'll be helping with painting. She'll be helping pull off wall. I mean, guys that aren't electricians will be helping pull wire. The electricians will be helping the plumber. It's don't ask anything of anybody that you're not willing to do yourself. And
Cool.
I think as a rule of thumb across the board, that keeps things pretty smooth.
Nice.
I always look at an honor for me and Hal is to not only watch how the people that volunteer their time and work with us kind of work with each other, but what happens, it's not like, oh, we're the fastest at the flooring, so get the hell out, we're doing it. They'll literally, if you want to learn flooring and you're an electrician, they'll be like, yeah, come on over, and they teach them. So we have multiple projects where our primary contractor has a totally different job, but they want to learn it or they want to help, and that to me is what builds the camaraderie of the whole team.
I like to close the conversations by refocusing on the why of what we do. So, what motivates you to do this day in and day out? What keeps you excited and passionate about what you do?
It's clear to me what keeps me passionate is it's really not having a TV show. It's not the business part. It's changing people's lives in a way that you know you're doing it. You become friends with them, and then you see the benefit of what you're trying to create years down the road as their families using it. That to me is really what Renovation Hunters is all about.
Cool. Hal, same question
Yeah,
to you.
yeah. I echo what he said, but to elaborate on that too is self-challenging, right? Is where you start to where you end up, that challenge you put to yourself. Because look, you never grow as a person if you don't challenge yourself, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we do a lot of growing as a person because we challenge ourselves consistently every build, every day. And to me, from where we start to where we finish is something beyond to be proud of, but we grew a lot from it personally.
Okay.
Very well
Great.
said.
Hey, Hal and Chris, thank you so much for coming on. I'm excited to, we'll have links in the show notes for the show and other things, how to submit for the show and do all that. But thanks for taking some time and chatting with me. Appreciate it.
Todd,
Thank you.
anytime you send me a message, I'm there for you, brother. This has been
All
a
right.
lot of fun. This has
Awesome.
been a
Thanks
lot
a
of
lot.
fun. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Well, that was my conversation with Hal Shaffer and Chris Filardi, creators of the show Renovation Hunters. Now, click on the links in the show notes to find their website, how to find their show, how to submit to have your cabin renovated, and just to see the other things that they're working on. And remember from the intro, I would love for you to join our Podcast Insider Group email list. Go to graybar.com/podcast and click on the link in the show notes. Let's start this conversation so we can move this industry forward. Also, if you enjoyed the episode, you can help us grow by subscribing and leaving a 5-star rating in your favorite podcast player and on YouTube. Thanks for listening and watching this episode of Keeping the Lights On. We'll see you next time. What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's That's probably one of the best questions I've ever been asked, because hindsight is 2020, and I would say that I started late in life, guys, to follow my dreams. I was in my 40s before I started TV, right? And to start my life in the outdoors. I always was an outdoorsman, but it was a recreation. It wasn't a job. If I had to tell my 18-year-old something, find something you love to do and make that your career, because you'll never work a day in your life if you do that. That's what I would tell my 18-year-old self.
Chris, same question to you. What advice would you give to
Well, I
your
would
18 year
hope
old
that my
Chris?
18-year-old self would actually listen to my 60-year-old self,
Well,
because I
probably
don't know if
wouldn't.
I would
That's an
have back
assumption.
then.
That's a given.
I think what I would say is I've had I've been blessed to travel all over the world to do some really cool stuff. People are people, friends are friends. Like I would tell them to keep in touch with, if you meet someone on a business trip from a company and you really like them, keep in touch with them, because this world is
Mm,
so small. It's so
mm.
small. And now that me and Hal, we've had our business Come On Media for 5 years, like I've been reaching out to people I haven't talked to in 20 years. And you know what? It feels like the day we hung out together 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
pretty amazing.